I'm gonna just not bury the lead. Let's just jump right into it. This was back about 18 months ago.
Hmm.
In January of last year, Okta had a breach. They were very slow to disclose it. They had a lot of criticism about their disclosure and how they handled it. Ended up being, not such a big deal. We wrote a report about it at the time. And obviously Okta is a name that we track in our surveys as well. I'm just going to pull up one little, time series analysis of their overall spending. And, the company rebounded very well from that breach. There seemed to be a hiccup. People were wondering if they could trust, if not. But what I heard from the interviews and from the CISO friends of mine was no one was going to move off of it. It was still best of breed. It still had all the integrations and it had the best plug and play. But they might use it as leverage during negotiation phase. So that
Hmm.
was what they said last time. Now let's fast forward. Our most recent data here caught a bit of a drop. It's actually, if we go back historically, it's the lowest we've caught for Okta. And this was prior to the announcement on Friday of yet another breach. I actually published this data on Friday. And then 2 hours later, we've got the news and the stock kind of tanked. So this is the first time I'm getting to talk to a security professional. By my count, this is the third or fourth breach Okta has had. Where do we stand with them? What do you think the marketplace and your peers are going to react to this?
I think that based on the public news release and especially the non-technical media release, whether you're looking at the CNN monies or the CBS marketplace, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And for non-professional, non-cybersecurity professionals, especially for the executive suite, if you were executive suite of a company and you sit on the IT governance board and you basically see the headline coming through and you realize that, oh God, my credentials are being exposed.
Yeah.
And that's actually would drive a lot of the issues and a lot of the perception, negative perception related to Okta. But in a way, Okta is still the best breed. And if you diving into the nature of the most recent breaches, security breaches actually have to do with with the HTTP web files, the archive file that was they uploaded, the two customer uploaded to Okta as requested by the company by Okta for troubleshooting and support. And they basically face an attack, and because of the files now contain quite sensitive information around cookie sessions and between the browsers and Okta. So a man in the middle attack was able to pull that information and impersonate the customer and try to access the customer Okta platform. So having said that, right? I mean, from a cybersecurity perspective, it is always a challenge to keep up with with the different kind of attacks and the different kind of of vulnerabilities out there. Um, I think that the news was far more negative to Okta, and if you're looking into that a little bit, I think that Okta is still a little slow in response.
Yeah.
Because based on my research, because I mean, pretty much everybody using Okta, that large company using Okta these days. I have quite a bit of experience with Okta based on my years of, working in the industries as well. They um, I think that what I read this morning was that they actually was notified earlier by another company beyond trust, but they didn't do anything. And I think that does give the perception that they are slow to respond to major incidents. I'm kind of surprised because given that the SEC rules that recently that went into effect in July, late July, on the cybersecurity disclosure, an incident like this likely would have a material impact, and we can see this morning, as well as late Friday, that it did have a material impact to Okta stock price. And so in a way, it's kind of like, okay, why are you not, why are you not notified? But from their point of view, I could understand. It's one of those that if you go ahead and you notify, And if the incident is isolated, in this case, only to customer, your stock price actually get hit unnecessarily. But at the same time, if you don't and somebody find out and they'll go public with that, your stock price will
Right.
tank. So it's one of those damn if you do, damn
Might
if
it
you
have been
don't case.
better to disclose the severity of it,
Exactly.
especially considering they caught a lot of flack the first time around and how
Mm-hmm.
they handled it. So it seemed they
Right.
didn't really learn their lesson in
Mm-hmm.
this manner. And never a good look when one of your competitors is the one who notifies you, right? With Beyond Trust.
That's exactly right. Yes. Uh-huh.
So I'm going to just show real quickly on the recent data. One of the things we're able to do is when somebody says they're adopting or replacing a vendor, we can go back and ask them why.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is, listen, their product capability on this green one is by far overwhelmingly the reason why people use them. Feature breadth and the capability of the product. They really are one of the best. And that has to do also not only with their efficacy, but their integrations, right? You can plug it into any other thing that you already have and it just works. So the concern I have here is this. One of the main reasons for replacing them is that people are saying it's the product cost or the ROI, and it's getting very expensive. I've heard a lot of people complaining about their pricing creeping up, and this is even more concerning. This is a security feature, and 26% of the people who replaced them cited security as the reason. And I have to think that has to do with the breaches. So when you combine high cost and some concern over their security of the feature, that is troubling for a vendor that's already on the top and has a lot of competition, whether it's OneTrust, Beyond Trust, ForgeRock, Microsoft has an offering, Cisco, of course, Palo, Ping is still out there. Now, some of these might not be considered best of breed, but there's a lot of other options. So I'm going to ask you to look into a crystal ball, and given everything I just stated, do you think Okta is going to be able to weather through this again, or do you think this could be troubling for them?
Well, it depends on how they handle the future contract negotiation. And to your point, that a lot of CISO look at this and basically say, I'm going to use this thing to my advantage when I'm renewing the license. And in a way, is true. My disappointment with Okta personally is that while they are the best in breed, they have a lot of feature, but recently, especially those features related to security monitoring, they basically make it an add-on service and they charge us for that. Which is a good example of this, Eric, would be, that's Okta advice, and even with the recent security breach, the CISO advice company that you got to monitor the system log, for unusual IPs, unusual users, and activity. And unless you are an S&P 500 or 100, even to Fortune 100, to have an in-house security SOCs and software that log monitoring software as a good SIEM platform, you're looking at many companies, they don't have that. And so Okta create a service that would use AI to detect abnormal patterns within the system log and inform us. They turn around, they basically add on it as a service and sell it back. And so it is disappointing that you are, as Okta, as a security company, they sell their platform and they market their platform from the fact that we are the best in breed from a secure single sign-on perspective. But yet, if you want more advanced capability to protect yourself, you're gonna have to pay for that.